What's up, therapists? Brannon here, your liberated therapist, helping therapists scale their way out of burnout and building practices that you actually love. I've done it myself. I've built up practices into multi-million dollar practices, and I no longer am stuck in the trap of private practice burnout. And I want to help you do that too. So I was struggling with this one because I know whatever the title of this video is, you're not going to want to listen to it. That'll really get you wanting to listen, is tell you you're not going to want to listen to it. You're a therapist. You're not into numbers. You're not into math. You're not into you went into this because you don't do analytics. I get it. Now some therapists do, and some therapists like it. I'm going to talk to you why it's so important and what it can actually do for you in order to scale up your practice and build the business that you actually love running. Have you ever heard of a KPI? They don't teach you this in therapy school. Write that down here. KPI. Now, KPI is a key performance indicator. Why are they important for therapy businesses? Because they're important for any business. So if you're running a business, even as a therapist, KPIs will inform you and help you in so many ways. So when I first started doing therapy, I just opened my practice and I wasn't getting clients. I didn't know what I was doing as a therapist. I wasn't very good and I wasn't getting clients. But I didn't know why I wasn't getting clients. I didn't understand what was actually going on in my business. I just knew I wasn't getting clients. KPIs, analytics, numbers, they can help you get a view of what's going on. And you can actually gather them fairly simply. Now, KPIs are a little trickier than what you might think. KPIs might look like one thing when in reality you should be measuring another. So it's important to understand the nature of your business in order to get to the right KPIs or key performance indicators. So basically what these are statistics that tell you whether you're doing well or whether you need to make some changes in your business. A key performance indicator. I'll give you an example. A KPI might be how many new referrals I get in a week. So let's say I generate 3 new referrals this week. That's a KPI. I've identified that as a KPI for the week. I might be doing really well on this KPI. Wow, 3 new referrals a week. Yay. But my practice isn't building. I'm not able to fill up my other therapists. Something's off. So I need to look at maybe another KPI. What is my retention rate? That could be a KPI. So let's say my retention rate is 5 sessions, 5.327, whatever sessions per client. Okay, so now I know I'm doing 5 sessions per client. I know this is messy, but you get the point. Yay, I'm doing 5 sessions a client. Let's say I hire a therapist and we measure their KPI, retention rate, and they're doing 2 sessions, 2.237. The reason I do these decimals is to show you that you can measure down to the decimal point to really get clear with what's going on. And sometimes these little numbers do matter. But they're doing 2.237 sessions per client. Okay, so now we can look at, okay, if Brannon does 5.327, and let's say we'll call this therapist Bob. Bob does 2.237 a session. This tells us something. Something's happening. Brannon is sustaining clients at a much higher rate than Bob is. Now, I know our goal as therapists isn't to sustain our clients forever, but 2 sessions is very low. We want to sustain them longer than that. Like we could do a KPI and somebody retention rate is 30 sessions. Well, maybe that's not our goal because that means you're keeping people in therapy forever, depending on what you're treating. So a good KPI might be 5.3 sessions. I'm just making this up, but what happens when you start measuring, okay, my KPIs are for the business, you want them to be very defined and clear. They're black and white. You only want 3 to 5. You don't want a gazillion KPIs because they get lost in the mix. You want a clear way to be able to measure. So there's measurement tools that you can use. There's software Even your practice management software is getting better at analytics, measuring stuff so you can look at stuff. And you also want them to hit the mark. I don't want to measure stuff that doesn't matter. Like if I measure something like how much did I spend on Google Ads? Well, that might matter in some ways, but when it comes to my business and growth, a KPI of retention rate or new referrals is much more important. And this is just an example. So you want them to hit the mark of what is actually a key performance indicator in your business. I can hop in simple practice. I can generate some reports. Maybe I get a software like I know this is just a mess up here. Writing it out for you helps me. I can generate reports. I can get a software like there's one called Practice Vital that is awesome to track metrics, track analytics, actually get the numbers. Now, don't overwhelm yourself. If you're not a numbers person, that's okay. Just focus on 3 KPIs. KPIs are awesome, and this is why. So once I start getting this data, they will help me when I do performance reviews with therapists. They will help me when I do my hiring because I'll look for certain attributes in people that I know they'll hit those KPIs. They will help me to adjust things. They even help me get an understanding of the culture of my business. They'll help me in terms of my growth model of I'll look at things and be able to see like, okay, we're growing at this level. Maybe our growth is a little too fast because our KPI of, let's say, then maybe I'm growing too fast. So the KPIs are the thing that gives me a view of what's actually going on. So once I discovered this, I went from wondering what's going on in my practice to actually being able to pinpoint and address what I needed to in order to actually change my business and help it grow. And the beauty of it too, and this is what's awesome when you mix business with therapy. I know we're not supposed to as therapists. I know that's like something that we have been taught, but when you do good business and when you have KPIs that look really good, you know what that means? It means you're doing good therapy. It means you're helping more people. More people are satisfied. More people are moving forward. More people are feeling like they are progressing. And when you can clearly see that because you've installed systems to gather this data, it's well worth it. Thank you for listening this far. As a therapist, if you listen this far to me ramble about KPIs, it means you're the type of therapist that actually wants to build the practice that you love. You're the type of therapist that's going to scale up, not burn out. You're going to be abundant, and you're going to go kill it. So it's awesome that you listen to this. I have a lot more tricks to this, little things you can do, ways you can source the right kinds of KPIs. Come talk to me at Therapy Co. I can break it down with you. I can talk to you in person. We can look at your practice specifically. Your KPIs might be a little bit different than somebody else's because of the nature of your business, which is a little bit different. Come talk to me at Therapy Co. I help therapists to actually scale up, to build businesses that they love, to build a life that they actually love. So I'll see you over at Therapy Co. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel.